After 9 years together, my fiancé, my first love, ended things overnight, canceled our wedding, and took our dog. I feel like I've lost my home, my family, and my whole life in the blink of an eye, and I don't know. 27, have been with my fiancé, 25, for 9 years. We met in college when we were basically still kids, and we grew up together in every sense. She was my first girlfriend, my first love, and my first real partner. We've been through so much together, moving out, buying our first home, adopting a dog, and slowly building a stable life with careers at the same organization. It's safe to say that almost everything in my adult life has involved her. She's always wanted marriage and kids, and I did too, though I was never as dreaming about it since childhood as she was. But I knew she was the person I wanted all of that with. Last year, I proposed to her on a beach while we were on holiday. It was one of those perfect moments you imagine in your head, her crying, me shaking, the ring fitting just right. She said yes, and for a long time it felt like we were standing on the brink of the life we had always envisioned. We set a date, booked venues, she even found her dress. Everything was falling into place. The plan was always to start trying for kids after the wedding, but a few months ago I told her that if she was ready, I was ready. I suggested she could come off the pill, and although she seemed a little surprised at my timing, she was happy about it. So she stopped. But here's the thing, despite planning for a family, our intimacy has always been complicated. She's always said she has a low sex drive, that physical closeness isn't a priority for her. I've tried to accept that, though if I'm being honest, it's always left me feeling a little unwanted. Then, about 4 months ago, I suffered an injury at work. I was attacked by a dog and lost part of a finger. Since then, I've been off work, and my mental health has been in a pretty dark place. I've struggled with sleep. I've felt disconnected from everything, and I've been trying to find my footing again. Work referred me to counseling, which I've just started, and I'm due to return to work soon. During this time, I know I wasn't myself. I was depressed, withdrawn, and just trying to hold it together. About a month ago, she told me that she felt like we were just roommates, that she wasn't getting attention from me. It hurt, but I also understood. She wasn't wrong. I told her I hadn't been myself since the accident, but that I heard her and would try harder to give her the love and attention she needed. I really meant it, and I tried. I was more affectionate, more present, more communicative. I made an effort in ways that were hard for me at the time because I wanted us to reconnect. She even told me she could see I was trying. But as I leaned in, she leaned out. It was like the harder I tried, the colder she became. At first, I didn't really know what to make of it. I told myself maybe she just needed time, or maybe I wasn't doing enough of the right things. 2 weeks later, I finally asked her what was going on, because the distance between us was becoming undeniable. That's when she dropped the bombshell. She told me she wasn't in love with me anymore. She said there was no spark, no fire, nothing like what we had before. She told me she couldn't marry me, not feeling the way she does, and she definitely couldn't start a family like this. She admitted that whenever people asked her about the wedding, she never felt comfortable talking about it. I don't think I've ever felt my world collapse so fast. I'd go as far as saying that hearing those words broke something inside me. I sat there, stunned, trying to process how we went from planning our lives together to this. I asked her what changed. I told her I thought I'd been better, that I'd been listening to her, giving her what she asked for. She acknowledged that. She even said she could see how hard I was trying. But then she hit me with something I'll never forget. She said it felt forced. Forced. That word gutted me. Because it wasn't forced. I wasn't faking it or acting out of obligation. I was consciously making an effort to love her in the ways she needed, even though I was drowning in my own struggles. I thought that's what couples did. They tried, they fought for each other, they chose each other even when it was hard. I told her exactly that. But it didn't change her mind. After everything she had already told me, after she said she wasn't in love with me anymore, that she didn't see a future with me, that she couldn't go through with marrying me, I still tried. I don't even know why. Maybe denial, maybe hope, maybe just sheer fear of letting go of someone who has been my whole life for almost a decade. I kept trying to show her attention, to give her the love she kept saying she needed. But no matter what I did, there was nothing coming back. It felt like pouring myself into a black hole, endless effort with nothing reflected back. Then a few days ago, it all came to a head. We were at home. Neither of us had anything to do. I asked her if she wanted to do something together, just us. She kept shrugging, saying, I don't know. I threw out suggestions, a walk, a movie, going out for food, but she wasn't interested in any of it. I could feel myself getting frustrated, but I didn't want to push too hard, so eventually I suggested we play a board game. To my surprise, she actually seemed enthusiastic about that, and for a brief moment, I felt a flicker of the old us. We sat there playing, laughing a little, and it almost felt normal. But as soon as we finished the game, she looked at me and just said she couldn't do this anymore. Not in those exact words, but close enough. It was like she had been waiting for the right moment, and once the game ended, she let it out. That same evening, she went and emailed our wedding venue to cancel the wedding. Just like that, months of planning, deposits, dreams, conversations about the future, gone in an instant. She said she needed to feel wanted constantly and not go through cycles of things being good and then bad again. She told me that's how she's always felt in our relationship, up and down, inconsistent, never steady. I tried to explain to her that no relationship is perfect, that every couple goes through spells where things aren't great, and that what matters is how you work through them together. But she just shook her head. She said she needs consistency, and I couldn't give her that. That night I slept in the spare room, numb, staring at the ceiling, wondering if this was really it. Wondering how you just go to bed in a house you've built together, knowing the life you planned is unraveling in real time. The next morning, I woke up to a text from her. It was early, and she asked me if I wanted to go to the beach. For context, we had been planning to take our dog to the beach with a friend and their dog. But the day before, she had told me it wasn't going ahead. And since she'd literally ended things with me the night before, I assumed there was no way we were still going. So when I saw her text, I felt confused and, honestly, a little angry. I texted her back saying no, I didn't want to go, that she could take the dog if she wanted to. She replied saying if I was sure, then she'd go without me. I told her I couldn't just go to the beach and act like everything was normal when she had canceled our wedding less than 12 hours before. That's when she said, it would be nice for the dog. And that got me. She was right. Our dog had never been before, and it was something we had talked about doing for a long time. So I caved. I told her I'd go, and I did. But the whole day I couldn't shake the confusion. Why had she asked me to come? Why, after ending things so definitively, was she still inviting me on a 3-hour drive to the coast, like nothing had changed? I spent the entire trip with this pit in my stomach, trying to act normal but feeling like I was being pulled in two directions, the part of me that still desperately wanted to hold on to her, and the part of me that knew she had already let me go. I watched her play with the dog, smile at the waves, and for a second it felt like we were just another couple enjoying a day at the beach. But underneath, all I could think about was the email she had sent to the wedding venue, the words she had said to me the night before, and the reality that this woman I had built my whole adult life around no longer wanted to be my partner. When we got home from the beach, I couldn't hold it in any longer. I had to ask her what the day had been about. I needed clarity because my head was spinning. Her initial response was, I thought we could have had a nice day and be friends. That answer hit me like a brick wall. Friends? After 9 years, an engagement, a house, a dog, a life we built from the ground up, she wanted us to just have a nice day as friends? It didn't clarify anything for me. It just added another layer of confusion. I pressed her. I told her I didn't understand at all. I asked, did you wake up in a different frame of mind? Eventually, she admitted that she had woken up thinking maybe we could have a nice day together, and that depending on how I acted, it might reignite something between us. Hearing that left me completely flabbergasted. I didn't know whether to feel hopeful or betrayed. It was like she had set me up for some kind of test without telling me. So, I asked her the obvious question, why didn't she just say that in the morning? Why not tell me what she was feeling instead of letting me spend the whole day confused and on edge? Her answer crushed me even further. She said, if I had told you, then everything you did would have been forced, not genuine. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I told her that wouldn't have been the case at all. That I wasn't acting out of obligation, I was acting out of love. Even if it was fractured. Even if I was hurting. But she brushed it off. The conversation ended in the most painful way imaginable. She looked at me, calm and almost cold, and said there was no hope in reviving the relationship. She said she didn't feel anything toward me anymore. Meanwhile, I was standing there crying, begging for answers, and she just turned and walked off to bed. That moment broke something inside me. It was the final nail in the coffin, but it still didn't feel real. Fast forward a few days, and the reality of the situation has sunk in. She doesn't really have anywhere to go, no family to fall back on, nowhere else to stay, so I've been the one to move out. I took a few clothes and essentials, and I'm now crashing at my friend's place. And while he's been incredibly supportive, I can't shake the feeling that I'm a burden. This isn't my home, it's his, and I know I can't stay here forever. So, at some point I'm going to have to swallow my pride and ask my dad if I can move back in with him. I don't even know how to start that conversation. The thought of it makes me feel like I've lost everything, my fiancé, my house, my future, and now even my independence. I've told work that I need another month off sick because, honestly, I'm not okay. My mental health is in pieces, I can barely sleep, and my thoughts are just a constant loop of what if and why. I know I'm not in any state to be productive, let alone put on a brave face at the job where everyone knows I was supposed to be getting married. Yesterday, I went back to the house to grab a few more clothes and items. I let her know in advance, send a message so it wouldn't be awkward or catch her off guard. She never replied. When I got there, it was as if nothing had happened. She didn't bring up the relationship, didn't acknowledge the elephant in the room. The only words she said to me were, "Do you want a drink?" I declined. It felt surreal. How could we go from planning a wedding and a family to reduced, meaningless small talk in our own home? As I was leaving the house with my bag, I told her I might be back later in the week to get more of my things, or maybe even put some things up for sale. She didn't look at me when she replied, just said, "Take care of yourself." Something about those words broke me more than if she'd said nothing at all. It was so final, so dismissive. I couldn't help myself, I said, "How can I? I've lost everything." My voice cracked as I said it. I desperately wanted some acknowledgement, some kind of response that showed she cared even a little. So I asked her how she felt about it all. She looked at me, almost annoyed, and said she didn't like my attitude and didn't want to talk. That crushed me because I didn't think I even had an attitude. I wasn't shouting or being cruel, I was just heartbroken and lost. But I left, because what else could I do? If she didn't want to talk, I couldn't force her to. This last week has been absolute torture. Every day feels heavier than the last. I wake up and for a few seconds I forget what's happened, but then it all hits me again, that my life as I knew it is gone. My home isn't my home anymore. My dog, who is like family to me, is there with her, and I feel like I've lost him too. Even the small things like my bed, my space, the routines I built over 9 years, all of it gone. It's like I've been erased from my own life. I've never been in this position before. I don't know how to move forward, I don't even know how to put one foot in front of the other most days. People say time heals, but right now time feels like the enemy. Every hour that passes is just another reminder of what I've lost. My friends have tried to be supportive. They tell me not to go back if she ever changes her mind. They say that if she's capable of walking away like this, then she'll do it again, and I'll only end up back here. And maybe they're right. The problem is, I don't know what I'd do if she came to me tomorrow and said she made a mistake and wanted to try again. The truth is, I don't think she will come back. She seems so certain, so cold. And maybe that should make it easier, but it doesn't. Because I can't wrap my head around how we went from being engaged with a wedding planned, a life mapped out, even talking about starting a family to this. In the space of a month, everything crumbled. Some people have hinted at the possibility that she might have met someone else or had someone waiting in the wings. But I can't bring myself to believe that. She's never struck me as that type of person. Neither of us ever cheated, and trust was never an issue between us. Right now, I'm at rock bottom. I've lost the person I thought I'd spend my life with. I've lost the future we planned. I've lost my stability, my routine, my home. I feel like a ghost walking through what used to be my life, unable to touch anything, unable to feel anything except pain. I don't know how people survive this kind of heartbreak. I don't know how you pick yourself up when the foundation you built everything on has been ripped out from underneath you. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, or how I'm supposed to carry on. All I know is that right now, I don't see a way forward. And that terrifies me.